Hey friends, welcome to What's Good in Your Neighborhood. I'm Laura Nicole, your host, and I'm today joined by the founder and music director of Colorado Springs Youth Symphony Association and the executive director, Gary Nicholson. Deborah Lyles, thanks for having me out to your beautiful space.
Oh, we're so glad that you're here and that we can share space with you.
I love getting to hear more about different organizations this month that are really supporting the community. October is Arts Month, and so we're talking about uniting your world through the arts. And today we get to feature some music. So I'm really excited to have this conversation and hear more about your programs.
We're excited you're here.
Well, and welcome to you, by the way.
Thank you.
We're excited you're here. I hear you're new to the role, and all of the things are just coming at you left and right?
I am very brand new, 6 weeks in.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a very exciting 6 weeks.
Right.
But it's been fabulous.
I love that, we have you as an asset now in the community. I'm sure Gary does too, right?
Oh, very much so. She has such a wealth of experience in the music world, and so we're very excited to have Deborah join us.
Well, let's talk to our viewers first, if we can. Gary, maybe I'll just come to you and say, can you tell me more about the Youth Symphony? Let's start with, who are you guys? When were you founded, for folks who haven't heard of you yet? And then we can talk about the programs and things that you serve.
Sure. We started in 1980. Back then, I was in charge with another teacher in School District 11 of the District Junior High Honor Orchestra.
Oh, wow.
And so Monty Brown and I organized it and conducted it, and it was a good orchestra. And so we asked the kids and the parents after it was over, would you like to do this for more than 3 weeks out of the year? And there was a lot of positive response. So we started then the spring of 1980 with a budget of $600, about 70 kids, and gave
70 kids?
About 70
with
kids.
$600.
And $600, and gave one concert that spring, and
I love it.
we were off and running.
Do you remember what the music piece was?
No.
It was like yesterday.
That was
though,
so
right?
last century.
Fair enough. But you guys are still reaching the community and reaching the kiddos in our community with different types of music programs. My new executive director, would you like to give an overview of those programs and which age kiddos you're serving?
So Gary can give more of the details, but we do start them pretty young at 7, 8 years old with our Mozart Strings project, and that is in several schools around the community, and we start them very young on strings.
Okay.
So they can stay in that a couple of years, or they can advance up to some of our string programs at that point.
Okay, Gary, you have so many kids that you're serving in the community at all different ages. Can you tell me more about the different kinds of programs that you're running?
Yes, we have a beginning string program, the Mozart String Project, that is hosted in various locations around the city, a satellite program.
Oh, okay.
We have about 160 kids enrolled in that program, learning how to play string instruments.
And you guys start really young,
Yes,
Because I don't think the schools start as early as you do
Well, we
necessarily.
can start around third grade is what we like. There's a few second graders if they have recommendation from their music teachers at school. They need to be able to read, in other words. So that we start them very beginning with our Mozart String Project, and from there, after a couple of years, they can audition into one of our 4 string orchestras. So we have a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 string orchestras. And then the string students then can matriculate from the string orchestras to our full orchestra program, which then combines the band and string instruments, the percussion family, the band family, the winds brass family, the string instruments. We also have 2 bands. We have our Bravo Winds and Pikes Peak Winds, an intermediate level and advanced band. We have an intermediate level jazz band and an advanced jazz band. And then we have our 2 full orchestras, the Ovation Youth Symphony and the Colorado Springs Youth Symphony. We also have chamber ensembles for kids who want more. They can participate in string quartets, brass quintets. We have a Baroque orchestra. It's very, very rare.
I'm sitting over here speechless, not even know what to say. I had no idea you had so many programs.
Oh,
that's a lot of kiddos.
It is. We serve about 500 kids in total.
But you're teaching all those classes yourself, right?
I
You're just
am not.
lost, especially those 7-year-olds. I can see it.
No,
Oh my
I
gosh.
have taught at all the different levels, so.
Yeah.
But my primary responsibility is the Colorado Springs Youth Symphony.
Okay, so as the music director, what does that look like for you day to day, and what does that role entail?
Well, I have to hire coaches, our audition groups. We hire musicians from the Colorado Springs Philharmonic or some of the top educators in the community to come in and work with the kids on their instruments, so they have these small group instruction before they get to their large group instruction. I have to hire the conductors, develop the educational program, what are we going to do all the way through all these different
Yeah.
programs. And so I oversee a staff of about 30 people.
Wow. This is really quite the organization
It is.
and quite the thing to manage. Deborah, are you really ready for this job?
I am so ready. I begged for this job, did I not,
Yes,
Gary?
you did.
I did. I begged for this job.
I love that.
This is just the culmination of all my experience with education, music education, the music business, being a performer myself. I knew that this was the job for me.
Yeah?
Yes, I
She
absolutely
also must
did.
really like the kids running around too. I mean,
When they play,
there's got to be something really fun about
There-
watching them get it too, because
there's nothing like. In fact, Gary requested that my first day be at a symphony camp, music camp.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, up in the mountains, and I was like, why not? Let's just do it. And I heard these kids play, and
that was it.
It was mind-boggling, the level that they play.
well, I mean, he's starting them at 7, so to be fair, he's rounding them up all over the place, and he's like, "We're gonna get this."
It's been so. Music education is one thing, but the high level of music education and music performance we are offering, it really is a stellar program.
Okay, so I love that there's this incredible program that we have to offer that apparently I was not very well versed in and didn't know about, so you'll have to forgive me. But is this, and you mentioned auditioning, I'm wondering for our viewers and listeners out there, if you can tell us if they have a kiddo that's interested in music or has been playing for a little bit, how do they find out about programs or audition or the cost involved? How does that all work for you all?
Well, we do have a website that has all that information available. It's just our initials, csysa.com. But we have general auditions every spring in May. Everybody has to re-audition every year. They can't just get in and just lay back. They
Yeah.
have to prove themselves every year. But they also want to move up. That's the goal of most of them. They audition in the spring, and we put them into groups, and then we get music ready for camps and organize our camps. Then in September, we have our fall auditions for people who have moved to the area that didn't have the opportunity to audition in the spring.
Gotcha.
Or maybe we have some open positions that we didn't fill. Then we have mid-year auditions in December for the same reason.
What kind of time commitment are these kids putting in?
They meet once a week.
Okay.
We have, most of them have 4 concerts during the year. Then we have the music camp up in the mountains in the summer. It's a 3-day camp.
Okay.
The groups tour as well. I think it's very, very important to share your talents with other people. So our groups tour locally for the younger kids, just 1-day tours.
Okay.
And then our older groups will do regional tours, and then every 2 years, the Youth Symphony takes an international tour.
That sounds super fun. Tell me more about what that looks like when the kids are I'm sure they're so excited to get to go abroad and play music. And
Well, it's pretty cool. We did our first international tour in 1996 to Japan.
No, that's what you started with. You were like, let's go, we might
Yeah.
as well, all the way to Japan.
Well, we had an invitation to perform in a youth musicale in Fuji City, Japan. That's right at the base of Mount Fuji. And we have a sister city, Fuji Yoshida, Colorado Springs sister city, so we visited there. And it was fabulous, and I came back to our board of directors and says, this is the best educational opportunity we can provide. We can focus on the musical development, the musical excellence, but then to get them into the world to share their music and change people's opinions about American youth.
Yeah.
And to share our music and to learn about other cultures. And the following tour then was in 1998 to Australia and New Zealand, and with a performance in the Sydney Opera House, and which is an amazing
I
experience.
imagine a once in a lifetime.
So we were there we also visited New Zealand and a Maori tribe. I really believe in cultural exchange and experiences. And whenever we can, we do host families, because that's when you learn about the cultures, when you're in the culture.
Right.
So we spent a night with a Maori tribe in New Zealand, the indigenous people. And so we learned about their culture and their language, and we were greeted by a tribal elder, and one of the things he said to us was, through music we are one. And they shared their music and their dances and songs, and they cooked for us, and we shared our music with them and spent the night there. And I came back to our board of directors and said, I think we have our motto, and we've used that ever since, through music we are one. It opens
What a
doors,
fantastic
it builds
story.
bridges. It's really, really fun. And we've been to Down Under now 6 times. We just came back from our 6th trip just in June.
Well, that sounds, I mean, you know, Australia is a little intimidating for me because I think like everything there is trying to kill you in some way or another, you know. But I appreciate they're getting out there, they're exploring the world, right? And the thing I think about, you're talking about the level of talent with these young musicians, is even if they go on to do other things and don't necessarily stick with music for their whole life, what a great skill to have. That's the beauty of music.
It is.
You can pick it up and continue to play. You don't necessarily,
That's
it doesn't
right.
have an age limit.
Well, the skills you learn as a musician are transferable to just about anything you do, because we have a leadership component of our educational program. So we train the kids and talk to kids about problem solving, making appropriate choices and going to solution and dealing with challenges and how to represent yourself, how to speak, how to handle yourself in a foreign country or anywhere.
That's such an important, like, key component that I think our youth need today is people pouring into them and mentoring them, not just about your specialty of music and their skill in music and music training, but also, you know, to be a support system and be there for them after school and other hours when they need other solid adults in their life.
Yes, that's one of the first conversations Gary and I had. He was like, we are creating amazing musicians, but this feeds into life skills as well. And that is a very important aspect of what we are doing.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that you can also maybe shed some light on this beautiful space that we're in, because you guys have, Gary was telling me you've been around the block, so to speak, here in Colorado Springs. You've had some different homes, but this is the new permanent home.
This is a permanent home now, yes.
We should tell people, we are over off like Fillmore and Hancock, I think.
Yes,
We're
on
close
Corliss.
by, yeah.
Yes.
And this is our 14th location. We started in District 11 schools because they were our initial sponsor. And we've moved 13 times until we moved here. And it's the former Village Christian Church at 3113 Primrose Drive, and it fits our needs so perfectly. We have 2 large rehearsal spaces. We have 11 practice rooms.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't make it that far back. I was enjoying all the big spaces.
And full kitchen. Like just this past spring, we hosted another youth symphony from Washington State, and they came here, and we've hosted a high school orchestra from Oklahoma. And so
and you're fairly centrally located.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
if you're down in Fountain or all the way up in Monument or out to Falcon, maybe you can like get here pretty easily.
Yes,
Yeah.
Well, the drive from Spokane, Washington was quite a drive, but for that orchestra.
You're right. That commute is a little longer. Fair enough.
But we are able to serve so many different activities. In fact, the Colorado Springs Philharmonic is going to have a rehearsal here in the spring because their rehearsal space was taking, and we have master classes here and other concerts, and kids do their college audition recording here. And it's fabulous.
We really want this to become an arts hub.
Really? Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
we really, really do.
Well, how do you envision that?
We
Tell
foresee
me
that
more.
happening.
Okay.
Well, just the space lends itself to people coming in and utilizing it, especially during the day and on weekends and things like that. It could be a great performance space as well. So we just see the attraction of other organizations across the board coming in and utilizing this space. So
Well, and Colorado Springs Youth Symphony has been so invested in the community
Yes.
for so long. So I love that it's a recognizable, reputable brand that
Yes.
you've really developed here, Gary, and kudos to you for that. How can the community get behind you and support what you all are doing now and maybe in the short term in the next 5 years or so?
well, right now we are just about to launch the public phase of our capital campaign, because you can kind of look around and see that we need new windows, that we need major HVAC, we need major repairs going on. So we are in the middle of that, and we hope to launch that by about mid-October.
Okay.
And then our goal is 1.2 million. We
Okay.
are over halfway there.
Amazing.
So that tells you how valued this organization is in this community. We have amazing donors, supporters, parents, just amazing people who support this organization in many ways, small to just grandiose.
Well, and Gary, you were mentioning like how some of your alum have moved on in the community. You know, they graduated the program in the 90s or the 2000s and are now leading bands and orchestras of their own.
Yeah.
So what a great like asset and resource to
Oh, it's
have
fabulous
too.
to see what these kids go into. And
Yeah.
we have kids and former students who have been in cancer research and forefront of cancer research and working at Google and as well as performing in some of the major orchestras around the country and teaching in schools, not only here in Colorado Springs, but around the state and around the country. And it's really fun to watch what
Yeah.
they become.
What a beautiful legacy you've created.
That's
It
great.
really is. It really
Well,
is.
if we want to get behind you and support all that work that you're doing, I know the folks over at the Purple Mountain Group are really investing in the arts this
They are.
October and
Yes.
supporting getting the word out in the community. Is there anything else we should tell viewers or listeners before we sign off?
Well, I just think that people need to hear our young people perform. It's very typical that when people hear these kids for the first time, their reaction is, I had no idea that kids could play this way.
So how do we come see you?
So we have our fall concerts coming up.
Okay.
Our first one is October 27th. We have
Are they here?
I keep hearing about, it will be out in the community.
Okay.
That one will be at Wasson High School, but I keep hearing about this Holiday Pops concert that is crazy, Christmas, happy.
Okay.
Unbelievable music.
I'm in.
So-
If
and-
there's extra hot cocoa, then we're definitely in.
Well,
Gary's
it's-
like, what are you planning? What's happening? But
Well, December 7th, that's our Holiday Pops concert, and we sell out the Pikes Peak Center every year.
how fun.
I know.
Okay, so we have to get online and get tickets early is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
It sells out very quickly.
Okay.
So, yes, but we have concerts in the spring. We have, then we do have the different groups that get in here and the chamber concerts and things like that. So it's always popping.
It's always popping.
It
over
is.
here at the
It's
Colorado
always
Youth
popping.
Symphony. I love it. Okay, well, thank you both for being with me and sharing more about your space, your passions,
Absolutely.
and your musicians and the way that you're reaching the community. If you want to find out more information, make sure you check them out online. That's all we have time for today, but we hope we'll see you next time on What's Good in Your Neighborhood.